love that song so much. I know I don't have to, but letting it play all the way through for the beginning of stream is just so fun. Hello. Hi. Hey, howdy, hey. Now, whoops. Before we get started, I would like to address two things that aren't really that important, but are on my mind. First off, I would like to informally apologize for last stream. Nothing bad happened, guys. Chill. I know YouTube, first 30 seconds is very important, so I'm trying to keep your attention. I was just very tired that day, and I have this thing where I hate spoilers. And I hate it when stories are spoiled for me, and I don't like giving spoilers to other people for media that they've never seen before. Even if it's media they probably will never see, I still don't like giving out spoilers. So, last stream, I wasn't really talking about the meat and potatoes of the story of the fan art that I was drawing, because I am a firm believer that things should be experienced firsthand for enjoyment. I just realized my VTuber's not VTuber, but it's bouncing just a little too much. You can see the cutoff. Anyway, there we go. So I apologize that I wasn't like talking about the story hardly at all, because I don't like spoilers. From now on, I'll give a spoiler warning, but I'm not going to be... I'm going to try to take my allergy medicine to spoilers, because I do realize a majority of my audience are not bronies, they're not MLP fans, and when you suggest media to someone, they're most likely not going to check it out unless you really hook them. So, I'll just keep that in mind for the next few streams. Another thing that I would like to address, and this is mostly for the Twitch chat, so YouTube, you can sit back for a little bit on this one. I am just as mad as you guys are that certain clips of the stream are being muted. You know why? It's because apparently I am playing copywritten material in the background. Even though the music that I got for the background, I got from YouTube's media library, which is copyright free. So I thought, maybe Twitch has different laws? What's the dealio here? So when I looked to go to appeal these false copyright claims, it turns out Twitch bots thought I used someone else's third-party copyright material because they used the same audio in the background of their videos and copyright claimed me for stealing their content that they borrowed from someone else. We both used the same copyright-free music, but apparently I'm the content thief because they patented their stupid podcast. And here's the thing, like, the exact audio that I got copywritten for on certain clips, it was just some lady, no offense to her, but she had the same music playing in the background, and she was reading, like, Bible scriptures. So that's two things she doesn't own, but she put together and apparently owns the copyright or the patent for whatever video is it, and I got dinged. So if there are VODs, not VODs, but if the streams after the fact, if you go back and listen to them on Twitch, and bits are randomly muted, that's why. I am using completely copyright-free music by YouTube's media library, but I'm still getting dinged by third parties. This is not the first time this has happened to me. It has happened to me several times on YouTube, and I can't fight it. And I could appeal it on Twitch, but in order to appeal a false copyright claim, you have to put your full legal name and address into their little system in order to file a copyright claim. And I am sorry, but that is some bullshit, especially with the amount of times Twitch has been getting hacked recently, with the amount of bots that are on this channel. Like hell am I giving them my legal name and address if they ain't paying me yet. So I guess we're just gonna have to deal with the false copyright strikes, because fuck that noise, fuck them, and fuck bots, fuck third parties. I just got this VOD demonetized just by saying that I will not apologize for being pissed off at injustice. Okay. In that spirit, we set forth. I shall get my, hopefully, copyright-free music playing. That is so quiet in the background you can hardly hear it. I'm going to... Actually, yeah, okay. I'm gonna pop out the chat, even though half the time it doesn't even work. And I'm also gonna have the chat up on my phone. And hopefully, guys, if you have noticed, hopefully I got the chat box working again. So, yeah. Okay, Twitch just recognized that I'm live. Tap, open. Open. Motherfucker. Open. Give me chat controls. There we go. It's days, instances, weeks, and months like this that really make me glad that I am too poor to afford drugs and alcohol. Because, boy howdy, if I could afford those illicit substances, I would be eliciting those substances on a regular basis. Have you seen what's happening in the world today? The only thing keeping me sane is watching my favorite TV shows and drawing fan art for stories about colorful ponies getting put in a meat grinder. Speaking of today's fan art, for the My Little Pony universe, I know I'm push my keyboard forward. There we go. Today's art is kind of a double whammy. It is both, it's mainly for the creepypasta Debt to Society, focusing the titular character Scootaloo. Noticing that's two creepypastas focusing on the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Now I just need one for Sweetie Belle. And it is a unofficial, in air quotes, sequel to the ever iconic, ever popular Rainbow Factory. Now, a bit of backstory for this. Rainbow Factory was not the first My Little Pony creepypasta. That honor goes to Cupcakes. But Rainbow Factory is one of the OGs. The one of the OGs. Now, because it is so old, and I don't know, something about creepypastas back then, there were different rules for horror. So, Rainbow Factory is much love. No hate to Aurora Dawn, the original author. Was it Aurora Dawn? I know that was the character that was in there. Anyway, no hate to her, but the actual creepypasta of Rainbow Factory is kind of minimal, pretty bare bones. Still good, though. But the unofficial sequel, which wasn't written by the original author, but was a contest winner that was approved by the original author. So, to me, it is the actual sequel. And it is a very good take on what actually happened that day. Or what Scootaloo remembers happening that day. And if you don't know, because you're a sane person and don't spend hours of your life listening to creepypastas, Rainbow Factory is basically little fillies, which is the pony version of children, little kids that don't pass their flight school get sent to the Rainbow Factory, which is basically a giant meat grinder, and they're pushed in, ground up, and the pigment, or spectra, as it's called in the pasta, is drained out of them to make rainbows. There it is. Well, this is a picture of Cloudsdale. And there's the Cloudaceum. The actual Rainbow Factory is, like, somewhere over there. Okay, Scootaloo's got... Okay. And that's kind of the gist of the creepypasta. Scootaloo fails her flight test. She gets sent to the factory. She realizes the truth about Cloudsdale and how it's all about purifying the flock, getting rid of those embarrassments, that the pedicide that can't fly. So they just put him in a meat grinder. I think the pasta was based on the song Rainbow Factory by Wooden Toaster. An amazing song, by the way. But I thought it was the other way around. I thought the creepypasta came out and then Wooden Toaster wrote the song. But no, if you check the wiki, apparently it's the other way around. Aurora Dawn wrote the creepypasta based on the song. Didn't realize that. And if you haven't heard the song Rainbow Factory by Wooden Toaster, I won't play it here because copyright. But oh my, that is such a good song. Even if you're not a Brony fan, you've probably heard it because it was just that popular. But then again, I really can't say that because I constantly overestimate just how widespread things are. Okay. So that's basically the gist of the original pasta, Rainbow Factory. Now, Debt to Society, the sequel, is about Scootaloo years later, because, surprise, she survived the incident, but she doesn't remember due to PTSD. I'm gonna actually remove that. I'm so used to drawing fangs on characters, I forgot the ponies don't have fangs. And she's trying to piece her life back together in her adulthood. But she's having trouble because her nightmares are getting worse. And I love this story. I love Debt to Society, the way it's written, because it genuinely... I've never had a panic attack to that scale. I've definitely had panic attacks. Hey, who hasn't? But the way her PTSD is described in the story is just, ugh, masterfully done. I'm gonna, like, yeah. Yeah. That's how I'm gonna do it. Wait, how does their skull... Okay, her hair actually goes to here, so... Ugh. Okay. So while Scootaloo is trying to piece her life together, the past comes back to haunt her. I didn't mean to do that. Flip. And son of a bitch! I can't talk and draw at the same time. I just can't. Alright, let's figure this out. There we go. I can only multitask when I'm not doing two creative things at once. When I'm doing, like, a menial task and a creative thing, I can multitask that way. But two creative things at once, like drawing and recounting a story that is not my own, oh yeah. Oh, I'm struggle busting, baby. Okay, I'm gonna draw her hair and then move her head down. And maybe scale it up a little bit. Just to keep it proportionate. So of course I'm going to give the obligatory... I highly suggest checking out the story, even if you're not a My Little Pony fan. It's just very well written. Is that her hair? Yeah. And I'll say that about probably most of the creepypastas that I'm a fan of, like the MLP ones. It's like a lot of them that I like can be removed from the My Little Pony universe. Like, I was recently re-listening to the story Something Sweet to Bite, which is terrifying. I still had nightmares. And I was thinking about how the story would work, you know, outside of the MLP universe, and if, you know, if it would make a really good horror movie. And I think it would. Now, unlike Apple Sleep Experiment or Let Her In, like Rainbow Factory and Something Sweet to Bite would be a little hard to remove because the lore of it all is pretty well connected. Okay, I'm not sure I like that hair. She still has small wings. It's so cute. It's just, I'm drawing at a weird angle. Maybe if I try that? Yeah, let's try that. There we go. Because, like, with Rainbow Factory and Death to Society, the horror aspect of it is it takes something innocuous, like rainbows, and makes it terrifying. But if you, like, try to make it with people, it just wouldn't really work. But it has, like, all the hallmarks of a good campfire story. It's like, oh, all the little fillies that fail their flight test get thrown into the Rainbow Factory where they get chopped up into rainbows. Ooh, better do good. It'd be like the only way I can imagine making that humanized for the for the general audience is if you fail your driver's test, they put you into the Ford factory where they push you into some giant meat grinder and mix you into the metal, and now you're all part of the sentient cars, which is why Ford cars keep breaking down because they're actually people. It's something stupid like that. But like the horror aspect of Debt to Society is, I think, a little bit more imposing than just the broad, the base term of Rainbow Fact. In the sketch it looks fine, but I know when I do the line arts, then I'll look kind of weird. So we're just gonna try, and maybe I'll just move her down. Or size her up. Because Debt to Society, the true horror of it is that it's still this has been going on for decades. Longer than decades. And it's just a systemic part of the authoritarian government. Because it ends with them not taking down the Rainbow Factory, because in Debt to Society, Scootaloo and her friends go back to the factory. Because they're trying to figure out what's going on. I'm going to make her wings still a little smaller because in Rainbow Factory she could fly, but then in Death to Society it's implied that she can't fly, because for the majority of the show, Scootaloo can't fly. And that's kind of her, one of her, like, a big character moment for her is she can't fly because she has stunted wings. So she's dealing with that physical disability, and she makes do with it. She's got a little scooter, which is why she's called Scootaloo. But I love how Debt to Society kind of implies that Scootaloo could fly when she was a filly. Which I didn't realize when I first listened to Rainbow Factory. The true horror of the situation is that they weren't doing this to adults. These were children that they were doing this to. So, oh, I know it clearly said in the text fillies and, fillyhood, but it just didn't, like, click with me that these are, in fact, children. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna make her just a wee bit bigger. There. Okay. I'm gonna try and make these look like cracked glass or lightning flashes, so this is gonna take me a minute. What was I talking about? Right before the fillies. Phillyhood. Yeah, the true horror of Rainbow Factory is that it was just normalized. Still secret, but it was, like, systemically, there was no way Scoob on her own could stop it. And it was her debt to society to carry that burden. The burden of the memory of what happened and the burden of surviving. Because another thing that I really liked that they added, they didn't fully touch on it in the story. They were mostly just talking about the horror, like the incident. But another thing that is really interesting is Scootaloo survived the Rainbow Factory. They never touch on her survivor's guilt in the story, which is kind of sad because she lost 2 friends that day. One that, you know, was like a love interest, and another one that she had, you know, just met that day. But still, she watched all those fillies die, and they basically gave their lives so she could escape. And what'd she do with her life after that? She just couldn't move on, even though she couldn't remember why she couldn't move on. And I feel like that was a missed opportunity, but the story by itself is still really good. I'm gonna try and combine a bunch of scenes from both stories here to show that it's intertwined. But this is gonna be hard because the machine, the Pegasus device, is described as looking rusty because it's caked with blood. And a lot of blood mentioned in these creepypastas, so if you're squeamish about blood, clear out, because what are you doing here? There we go. And it's a bunch of rotating blades, because they're held over the machine with their ribs, with their wings basically ripped out, not ripped out of their back, but dislocated, with their ribs broken, because they said they found the pigment, the spectra, is much more vibrant when the subject is induced with severe amounts of pain. Which, what the fuck? But also, awesome. Great horror. If I keep messing around with this too much, we'll be here all day. So we're gonna move on to the clouds and the foreground, and then get on with these mini scenes. These clouds are going to be slightly cartoonish because the clouds of Cloudsdale look, well, they look like this. Another thing that's absolutely terrifying about Rainbow Factory and Debt to Society, the people that are doing this to these children 100% believe in what they're doing. Like, they think what they're doing is a benefit to everyone. And that these fillies should be honored. That they get to help the flock, even though they're just pathetic and useless, because what kind of Pegasus can't fly? And it's just so condescending, and it there's a bit of a whiff of genetic superiority and xenophobia in there that you might find familiar from your history textbooks. But that's what makes it scary, so I'm okay with it. I need to readjust my seat. Give me a moment. Maybe that'll do. Because I keep leaning forward so I can see the screen, but then I'm like putting all that pressure on my tailbone, and then I'm not. No, that's not it. And then I'm not sitting up straight, so I'm just slouching in my chair like a plebeian. Like an insubordinate pleb. But I also need a lot of cushioning because despite having a lot of natural padding in my tuckets, the back of my thighs are not so gifted. Okay, there we go. So one thing that a lot of people forget with these creepypastas is that the true horror is in the implication rather than just the blood. Although the blood and gore does help, hello Waffles, it doesn't hold a candle to the ferocity of... What's the word I'm looking for? I guess the word I'm looking for is blood and gore doesn't hold... The horror of blood and guts doesn't hold a candle to the true terror of... To beat a dead horse, haha, systemic problems. Because this wasn't like one crazy madman. No, this was a fully funded government operation with the approval of the princess. Now, there's no indication that Celestia knew what was going on at the Rainbow Factory, because it seems like the Pegasi just came up with this on their own. But it has her stamp of approval, because she couldn't make the rainbows by herself with Luna being banished. So it was up to the Pegasi of Cloudsdale with their weather factory. Blood and guts, in my opinion, can make horror very good if done right, but very cheesy and cliche. Oh yeah, I mean, just look at any slasher horror film. The blood and guts are something we look forward to, but are often the first thing to get censored because the network thought it was too gory. It's like, I'm sorry, it's a Friday the 13th movie. Don't tell me what's too gory. Throw that bitch against a tree in a sleeping bag, come on! If you know, you know. The sleeping bag kill is one of the most famous killings in the... I almost said Five Nights at Freddy's. In the Friday the 13th franchise, but it just got censored. So he was supposed to, like, persistently take this woman in a sleeping bag and just wham, wham, wham against a tree until her face was a mashed pulp. But it got censored by the network. Same with the makeup. Like, the makeup artist, compliments to the makeup artist, but apparently he was too good, or it was just too gory for the networks at the time, and they're like, no, you gotta tame it down, because this is too gory, even for a horror film. We can have tits and ass, and, like, sex and whatnot, but no, we can't have blood and viscera in your slasher or summer horror flick. So, excuse me? Okay. Which is why I love creepypasta. There's really no limits to what you can do But that's also the downside of creepypasta, because there's no limits to what you can do. So you can get away with things like this. Along with other terrible, terrible fan fiction that involve Rainbow Dash and Scootaloo that will go unmentioned here, but if you know, you know. If you know, you know. Now the ponies don't really... Do they? No, they don't really have eyebrows, so we're just gonna get away with it here. I had planned to draw the other characters behind Scootaloo in the original sketch, but I just couldn't figure out how to draw the Pegasus device that didn't make it look stupid. I could have referenced one of the machines from Bloody Bunny, First Blood, because that was a grinder that put her soul, whatever, into a stuffed bunny. But I don't know, because they're thrown into the blender, and then their pigment comes out. So I thought, and it's not fully described in the story. I mean, it kind of is, but I couldn't, like, picture it, because the thing with my brain, I have trouble visualizing things that are mechanical or technical. I'm gonna make this eye just a little bit bigger. Because it was a very famous ending to the Rainbow Factory that a lot of people were like, what the balls was that? So if you don't know, Rainbow Factory, I mean, if you don't know the story, this ending isn't going to make any sense to you. But it's basically there's this whole chase scene with the main character and the main villain. And the main villain, like, basically gets torn to shreds chasing after this little filly, Scootaloo. And she's dangling over the machine. She's right about to die. And the villain's like, any last words, you pathetic excuse for a pony? And Scootaloo's last words are, you have beautiful eyes. Honestly, I don't think I could have come up with a better ending either, but... Oh, I don't have Rainbow Dash. Shoot, I need her eye color. Hang on, do I have a reference photo of the titular... Where is it? I have one reference photo of Rainbow Dash. One is with sunglasses on, so that one doesn't help me. And there's also this one, so I'm gonna have to just... There we go. Okay, I need... I'm gonna put it here, actually. I don't think it does matter. Here we go. Here and here. Actually, might not need the blue because it is, like, described in the original text that the only thing left of Rainbow Dash that gave any indication to who she was her eyes, because she was just so burnt and bloody and just kind of ripped to shreds. Just completely insane. The only thing left, or like her rainbow mane was completely covered and burnt and ripped out and whatnot, was her eyes, even though they were wild and crazy. I'm not gonna just copy the Rainbow Factory sigil. I think this is the logo of the Rainbow Factory. I really hope it is. I don't remember this character's name, but I know I drew him because he's one of the scientists or the professors that are there, and I'm gonna try and figure out how to have one of my favorite lines from the entire from the creepypasta. It's just it's so good. Because I have the line, like, it's overlaid somewhere, and somehow I'll make it fit. But the line is like, you get to help us make rainbows. Beautiful, magical rainbows. Doesn't that excite you? And I'm just, ooh, mwah, so good. Okay, that's that line art. Should I keep it separate? God, all these layers are gonna kill me. I should probably keep, I'm gonna put them in a folder. In a folder. And then keep it separate. There we go. Oh, crap. I forgot to put the thing-a-ling. I'm drawing fan art for Rainbow Factory. And debt to society. Content warning. Blood. What else should I say? Blood and... I'm not gonna be drawing any guts, but I'll just say blood. There we go. And then I'll pin that manually. So now any new viewers can say, oh, can see, oh, that's what we're doing. Okay. There we go. Still working on your album, man. Oh. Anyone who's musically inclined, I applaud thee. Because I am not. I'm gonna try and figure out how to draw this motherfucker. Because he's described as red, black, bits of gray, facial hair, a Pegasus, of course. And that's it. I can only guess what this guy actually looks like. Also, it's really hard to draw these kinds of ponies with facial hair. Now, I know they somehow made it work with, give me a moment. What's his name? What is his name? No, Sunburst! That's his name. He had a beard. Same with Star Swirl. So I'm gonna try and make the beard work on ponies. Especially since it's not really described what kind of beard the dude has. But I'm assuming it's something... I don't know. That looks terrible. He's the one that says the line, "You get to help us make rainbows." Rejoice, for you are contributing to a brighter, better future. Oh, you should be thankful that we're killing you. Ugh, God, that's what makes this story, this franchise, really so terrifying. It's not just the violence and gore, it's the, you should be grateful that we're giving you a chance to serve society at all. Because you're just so broken. Now these ponies, they have irises that I have to watch out for. Oh, his eye color. Is his eye color described? Damn it, I didn't write down any notes. I'm a terrible artist. What notes? What were his eye color? What was his eye color? Oh God. I'm gonna have to... I'm gonna have to go back to the fic and find it. It's probably still in FinFiction. I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be. It's one of the pillars of the MLP creepypasta scene. Oh, that's gonna bug me. Alright, hang on. I'm glad your album's coming along nicely, man. And it's okay if you're off topic. Like, I understand that My Little Pony fanfiction is not for everyone. I just really like good writing. And I also... Oh my God, that looks... Shoot. Okay, good. My chat box is still working. Like that? Yeah. You get to help us make rainbows. Oh, the lighting in this one is gonna be so interesting to do. Because there's no windows. So the only light source comes from the fluorescent lights. But I really want to have, like, multicolored lights from the spectra coming out of the machine. You're just here for the art and vibes. That's fine. I get it. I was like, I'm not into speedrunning, but I still watch Pezzy live streams. Same with Pokemon cards. I don't collect Pokemon cards at all. I'm not even a big Pokemon fan, but I like the vibes. Someone will appreciate my autism. A beard. It's oh my god, he's described. Red and black, of course, because of course he's red and black. Everyone had an OC that was red and black. He said a beard, but not a goatee. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm not gonna do a beard. I'm probably just gonna do stubble. Because beards on ponies just looks weird to me. Where's not? He's got a lab coat. It looks weird, but bear with me. The lighting will cover up all of our anatomy mistakes. Oh, my back. Sit up straight. Alright, what else can I draw before we get to the viscera? I guess I'll draw the clouds. Yeah, I'll draw the rainbows. Okay, again, am I gonna go show style with the cloud and the rainbows, or am I gonna go slightly off script? Because the clouds, for me, would just be blobs in my style. But since this is My Little Pony fan art, we do have to be more conscious, because the clouds for them are like physical things that they can move around, kick, and lay on. Like, Rainbow Dash is constantly taking naps on clouds. Which is adorable, but it's really hard for an illustrator like me to keep track of the stupid shapes. Especially since I'm more akin to nature drawings. Maybe if I drew fan art for the Everfree, I could go a little bit more crazy, because then they're like, oh wow, the Everfree is so scary. Clouds move, plants grow, and critters live there, all by themselves. God, that episode with where we meet Zecora and the Everfree is so freaking funny. I mean, yeah, funny, because haha, racism and xenophobia, but also, my god, it just shows how stupid it is. Am I gonna draw this bit? Am I gonna draw the bit on the balcony? Even that's like where 99% of Rainbow Factory takes place with the balcony speech. Because my God, is it ever a speech? Bert, could I add something from Debt to Society from there? Let's move on. to, yeah. So there was fur and the faintest hint of a cutie mark. Who am I going to kill? You know, it'd be funny if I put... You know what, I should put, one of my OC's cutie marks here. You know what? Pixie Dust, you're getting killed. Alright, Pixie Dust, where's your cutie mark? Let me go get it. Alright, that was the wrong button. I got a few MLP OCs that I can randomly insert into these situations. Where is the MLP? OC refs, cutie marks. Rip Pixie Dust. Oh, I should save this. I haven't done that yet. Save as... I'll say... Rainbow Dead. There we go. Doesn't that excite you? That does not look like meat. Alright. Because what kicks off the whole story in Debt to Society and Scootaloo's descent down memory lane is a chunk of something is on the sidewalk outside of the video store she works at, and it is obvious to her, but not so obvious to everyone else, that it is a hunk of flesh. I'm gonna make it look... It should look torn up, because it was put into this thing. I'm gonna make it a little bigger. No, shouldn't have done that. Hang on. That needs to stay separate. Put it down there. Alright, now for the frickin'... I'm moving on. I'm gonna draw poor Aurora Dawn. No. Does she get thrown? She does get thrown in. Yeah, they grab her by... Rainbow Dash grabs her by her broken wings and... Yoink. Or this could be wooden toasters, Pony Sona. That would be kind of... That'd be a nice reference. No, that's too much. And then... yeah, that's about all the line art I can do for that bit, because the rest is just gonna be blood. I mean, this doesn't have to specifically be Aurora Dawn, because I couldn't find... I mean, I did find a reference, but I didn't save it for whatever reason, because I didn't think I was gonna draw her when I was looking at references. I have a feeling this this illustration is gonna take me a little bit longer to do than the next, several. God, especially the next one. Cast of Apple Tiato is gonna take me like 5 minutes. Which is fine. Don't like that. Ow. I need to get started, on her colors. Just so we can have some coloring done this stream. You know, I don't have any, favorite creepypastas that involve Sweetie Belle. Like, fully, you know? I mean, there's Something Sweet to Bite and, Apple Sleep Experiment. But she's not, like, the titular character. I mean, no hate to the little sweetie, but my goodness. I don't think there's any creepypastas that focus on Sweetie Belle. Now, if you guys know of any creepypastas where Sweetie Belle is the main focus, you let me know. Because I have several that feature Apple Bloom, because I guess the Apple family is just my favorite all around. And this one features Scootaloo. Okay, I've heard a few that focus on Scootaloo, but this is a good one this is like one of the good ones. The other ones I've read where it was really focusing on Rainbow Dash. So it wasn't, I don't really count it. What the balls? I guess she just doesn't have a tail in this art. Oh well. One thing that's really bugging me about this art, there's no, like, extra decal, so, like, that's it. I know they have pink mouths and, like, orange tongues. Probably not 100% show accurate, but close enough. She's got little purple eyes. I think the same kind of goes for Cutie Mark Crusader episodes. Like, I love the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Who doesn't love them? They're so cute. But when it comes to, like, focused episodes, the ones that stick out of my mind more are the ones that focus on Apple Bloom. And one for Scootaloo that I really liked was the Washouts episode. And that's where, the Washouts are a team of not really ex-Wonderbolts, because they flunked out of the Wonderbolt Academy, which the Wonderbolts are elite flyers, kind of like the Blue Angels. Of the group. And the Washouts do, like, these really impressive and scary stunts with no regard for safety, and of course Sulu thought it was cool, and she wanted to be like that. And Rainbow Dash is like, no, I mean, you shouldn't want to be like that, because not only just like, I thought you were my biggest fan, and also, I don't want you getting hurt. I thought you wanted to be a Wonderbolt. And Scootaloo has this breakdown that really stuck out with me. She was saying, I can't be like you, and I will never be like you. I can't be I will never be a Wonderbolt because I can't fly. And it was like the first time, and this was like in later seasons, and it was like the first time Scootaloo or anyone, it was actually like fully addressed that, I mean, there was another episode where they made fun of her for not being able to fly, but it was the one where she herself said, I can't fly. So she could never be a Wonderbolt. No matter how much she wanted it, no matter how much she trained for it, nothing she did could ever make her achieve her dream of being a Wonderbolt, because she couldn't fly. Because of her physical disability. I think at the end of the episode they made her like an honorary member of the Wonderbolts. I don't remember, but still. It was... Whew. That episode sticks out in my mind a lot. Not only was it really funny just to... I mean, was it emotional, but it was also really funny to hear a Spitfire say, drinking hay bales through a straw! It was so funny. I don't know what kind of lighting I'm gonna do here, but I know for everything else it's gonna be, pretty crazy. Okay, so that's like white with that. Okay. I will be coloring the line art for this and every illustration I do. if line art is involved. There we go. Or should these be gray? Oh, so it is possible to knot those pieces. Not these pieces? Yes, not those pieces. Why not? Because it's all for naught. That's the problem with having a white thing. The highlight layers that you add on top just don't show up. Welcome to Earth. Enjoy it while it lasts. I will figure that out later. Alright, let's get back to the line art. Bunch of rotating blades. Rotating blades that look like they're rusty, but they're actually caked in blood. I'm trying to make it look like a vat. I have a mental image in mind, but I don't know how to draw it. How am I gonna draw it? Because I'm imagining something, you know, like this, but like rows of them here, here, and here. And they're kind of more nestled inward. To really liquefy them. But that's gonna be a little hard to draw, so lock it in. Again, gears are not... Gears are not my strong suit. I'm kind of imagining the, some of the stuff from, like, Finding Frankie. Or something like that. Stop messing up my fucking game show! God, the music for Finding Frankie is so good. Old-ass game that I think deserves a sequel, but I'm not sure, like, lore-wise what would happen. I watched Pezzy play it, and my goodness, that just looks like it would be a headache for me. How am I gonna do this? Okay, there's that layer, and then there's this layer, so I'm gonna pull them. Shoot. Okay, that's there. Okay, so this gets erased and merged down. This, okay, that one's fine. But this gets erased. Merge down. Merge down. Hi, Dark Horus. Why do creepypastas insist on having rotating blades and whatnot in their horror? I can't draw that! Y'all? Have a heart on the artist, man. It's hard. It's murder out here. Haha. How am I supposed to draw a perfectly accurate replica of the Pegasus device if there's no picture of it? And the only picture of it that you can find on the internet in the official wiki was AI generated. Which, Alright, went on into just a... Yep. And then then there's this one and this one. Oh. Okay, I'm just gonna erase this so I can see what I'm doing. Dun 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 dun. dun da 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 dun dun da 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 dun dun da 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 da. Well, the rainbow's tale isn't quite as nice. It's a story view of sugar and spice. When the rainbow's easy once you get to know it, with the help of the magic of the Pegasus device. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. In the Rainbow Factory, where fears and hearts come true. In the Rainbow Factory, where not a single soul gets through. In the Rainbow Factory, where fears and hearts come true. How do you draw blades facing that way? How? Mama, how? I guess you just, I mean... I guess that's just gonna have to do. Oh my. I drew it on the same layer. Balls! Okay. Well, this is gonna be caked in blood anyway, so is anyone really gonna see it? Are you really gonna see it? That is one saving grace these creepypastas have. With all these props and whatnot. I don't actually have to think about the details for this stupid thing, because it's just gonna be covered in blood and guts anyway. No. No. Oh yeah, by the way, Dark Horse, if you want to know, the content warning for this stream is blood. There's gonna be a lot of blood for this piece. How do you draw this from the front? Aside from just... Oh, by Jove, I think I've done it. Yeah, today we're drawing fan art for Rainbow Factory, or Rainbow Factory and its sequel, Debt to Society. Because I love them. I like Debt to Society more than Rainbow Factory, which is funny because I also like Rocket to Insanity more than Cupcakes, which Rocket to Insanity was the unofficial sequel, in air quotes, to Cupcakes, which Cupcakes was the first creepypasta written for My Little Pony. Like, it's credited as the first. I don't know if it actually was, but it is credited as the first creepypasta written for My Little Pony, same as Ted the Caver was credited as the first internet creepypasta. It's easy to misjudge that floating city. The sorry called and the social psychology, but with all great things comes a great responsibility. That of Cloudsdale's being weather stability. How, you asked, are they up to the task? And which the answer is in a simple facility. Dun 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 dun. The Rainbow Factory, where fears and hearts come true. In the Rainbow Factory, where not a single soul gets through. In the Rainbow Factory, where fears and hearts come true. I'm gonna have to erase that bit. You kind of missed it, Dargoris, but earlier in the stream I explained what Rainbow Factory was in the lore of the show and in the creepypasta, and Death to Society. So you can look back, like pull it back, and then come forward, or just watch the VOD later on YouTube, or here as soon as I'm done. I don't know, I'm gonna tilt that a little bit. There we go. Okay, I'm still not sure about this bit here, but I'm not sure what else I could draw there. So, guess I'll just do this. You know, can I just copy paste it? I mean, technically I could. It's not my art, though. Well, if I color over it, I guess it works. I'll just ask for forgiveness later. For that transform is still on. Alright. Now, here we go. How in the hell am I gonna figure this out? Mein Gott. I guess I could draw this. Because, I mean, it was, like, most of the Rainbow Factory creepypasta was just this scene of 3 ponies on a balcony explaining the lore. Okay, as a cool little reference, we're gonna have... We could break canon a little bit, because in the story, they all wear black hoods that... and, like, suits that disguise their features except their eye colors. But for the sake of showing off, and because I think it'd be funny to put Wooden Toaster's Pomsona right here, because that's where he is in the music video. No, that's too much. I didn't like that scene, so I guess I could add something. What are we thinking, chat? Based on anyone else's knowledge of the pasta, what should we put here? Should I kill myself drawing the balcony, or should I kill myself drawing something else? Balcony? Alright. I mean, I've already drawn it, so I guess I can just draw the vague silhouettes of 3 ponies now. Who was up on the top? I can't remember. Was it the... Was Rainbow Dash down here? They're also in hoods. I'm just asking the ether. Because maybe my mind will remember. God, I forgot how to draw ponies. I also gotta fit in the phrase, because I really want that phrase somehow to be in there. I really want those words to be in there. I just don't know how I'm gonna fit this line from the creepypasta in there. You get to help us make rainbows. Beautiful, magical rainbows. Doesn't that excite you? Oh my god, that... what the lean? Hold on. Yeah, he's doing a little dance. I think they should... It wasn't said in the pasta, but I think it would be really interesting if they all had their wings splayed out, because this is like, their pride and joy, the fact that they passed flight school, and that they're, like, their whole identity is based on the fact that they can fly. Even though it's not described that, because they're completely, they completely disguise themselves, so they could be anybody. Any Pegasus could be a worker at the Rainbow Factory, which is why the reveal of Rainbow Dash being the foreman was such such horror. Because, oh my god, Rainbow Dash killing children? Oh no! The horror! TLDR of Rainbow Factory is, if the Pegasus children don't pass their flight school, or like their final exam to fly, and if they fail, they get put into a meat grinder to make rainbows. But it's all rather hush-hush, you see. Okay, that looks kind of cool. I'm gonna add this guy over here. No. If I was drawing this in my style, the Pegasi would have, like, more colors and feathers on, like, their hooves and tail. But I think I'm gonna stay more loyal for these next few pieces. This dude's is gonna be closed because I can't fit it in there. So I'm just gonna copy paste. Flip. Merge down. Good enough. Merge down. There we go. Oh god, is that all the line art done? Can I turn this off now? Am I free? Free! Ooh! Okay, I'm gonna make that one a little bigger. Okay, I think these clouds can stay the way they are. Alright. Ooh, right. Blood time. Now, again, it's described as she's described as completely drenched, with no indication as to who the original, who the pony is, except her eye color. And for the sake of shading, to fill this out, I don't have a picture of Rainbow Dash. I'm just going, here it is. A few strands of hair that I'll color over. Wait a minute, what's Rainbow Dash's hair order? Hang on, I'm completely forgetting. Oh, I'm a dunce. Alright. Wrong hair color. No, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna shade it. Bloodshot. I should save. I'm gonna add a little bit of red in there. I don't know why I feel like I should. Okay. I get to get creative. It's a little too pink, but I need to like smear it, you know? And maybe get some dry stuff in here. Good God. Alright, there we go. Clipping multiply. Maybe. Ooh. I just had an idea. I'm gonna, since the machine is working by now, I'm going to have the lights from the factory. What should I do for this one? And it's just to fill out her eyebrows, so it's not just a blank thing that looks like I forgot to color in. I'm just gonna give her slightly darker brows, even though her brows might technically be rainbow colored, but who cares? Should I put the entire spectrum? I mean, you can't have too much rainbows, right? You can't have too many rainbows. Maybe to show that she's been consumed by the spectra. One down. Alright, now for this one we're gonna have, she was described as green, but I think she was more blue-green, so... I should really come up with more things to say on stream that, you know, can fill the long gaps of silence without me going completely insane. Ooh, okay, since the blood spurts upward, I'm going to sort of fill in where the rest of her body would be. So, just so, you know, there's no awkward blank bits. I mean, why am I even bothering with the colors, man? It's all about to be covered in blood anyway. What was her eye color? Blue? Man, I just listened to it about, like, last week or whatever. Why can't I remember? Don't worry, man. It's alright. I can't be listening to anything when I write either. Because it gets on my nerves, man. I forgot. In the Java chip mocha, there's like actual chocolate chips in it. And it just hit me. I was like, what the was that chunk? I was like, nope, it's just chocolate. Don't worry. I think she was described with having some yellow in her hair too, so I'm gonna do that. You know what? No, that's gonna bug me. What does Aurora Dawn look like? Rainbow Factory. Please don't crash my stream. I was completely wrong. She is a yellow Pegasus with a blue and green mane and tail with blue eyes. Her cutie mark is unknown. My goodness. Ain't that a funny little, Okay, so a yellow Pegasus with a blue and green mane. Based on this picture, I think I can deal with that. This looks weird now, but bear with me, guys. It'll look, hopefully, less weird later. There's just gonna be blood everywhere. She's dead by this point, so... Okay, that's hard light. Here we go. Mapping pen, watercolor. How do you draw blood? Alright. Yeah, I'm just gonna block it in with pen, and then we'll, block in the colors. And then we'll come in with the smudge tool and watercolor tool to like make it look like it's high velocity. I'm probably using the wrong colors. Because she was dropped. I completely forgot. In the story, she's dropped in face first. Shoot. Oh well. Oh well. God dang it. How dare I only remember important details after I finish the line art? Shoot. Oh well. Where's the smooge? And then watercolor wet. High impact spatter. No, we don't. No, we just delicately erase around this because I forgot. Wait, no, I'll just put it down here. Doi. Now we'll just delicately erase under so that it stays in the lane. See, it looks better now. Wait, hold up. Blur it out just a little bit. There we go. Maybe if I put that on multiple. No, we'll keep that on a normal, and then, yeah. hard lighting because, of course, it was dark as hell at the time of, in the pasta. Okay, so just everyone ignore the fact that Aurora in the story was actually dropped head first into the Pegasus device. Everyone ignore that. Just shush. Let me practice drawing my viscera. What layer is this? That's on top of that. What layer is this? Nothing. Okay. Turn that down. And then this, that, and the other thing. The fuck? Oh, it's just a truck driving by. Okay. That did not sound like brakes for the longest time. Hello? Alright. And rendering the line art for this thing is also gonna be fun. Because it's gonna take me 12 years to do! You know what? You know what? Y'all piss me off. Alright, we're just gonna... There! Except this one. This one's going to be, a beautiful white sky. Beautiful blue sky. You're struggling with some new fan art. Yeah, I always struggle with fan art, which is why I decided to do this as like a challenge. Because I never draw fan art, and this is why. It is so flipping hard for me to draw. Because I'm always stuck between drawing it the way I would design these characters, or the way I would draw them, or show style. What the H? You get to help us make rainbows. Beautiful, magical rainbows. Doesn't that excite you? Just struggling with the hands. Same here, lol. Always with the hands. I don't know why. I've had mine for my entire life, so why can't I draw them? Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, okay. Yeah, that's an issue. Alright. Copy paste. I had it cascading over the clouds because the rainbow's just kind of out of Cloudsdale. Like waterfalls. There we go. There we go. Okay, that looks good. I like that. I don't know what the background for like the rest of everything else is gonna look like, but it's probably gonna be multicolored. Oh, okay, this one is another scene. So we can, you know what? It's gonna be on a sidewalk. Excuse you. There we go. Hmm. Where's my stipple pen? There it is. Just adding useless details to a bunch of different illustrations. Because what are we if not just a collection of useless details? What is my mind if not a collection of useless information? That has yet to help me achieve anything in life. Alright, pixie dust. Poor boy. Alright, what's his fur color? I want to get this one exact. Alright, so it's really funny. In the story, it's described, you know, there's a scene where a chunk of flesh splats on the pavement, and there's the slight hint of fur and the faintest hint of a cutie mark. And I thought, oh, wouldn't it be funny if I, you know, if I add one of my OCs to the art piece. So, beloved pixie dust, looks like you're gonna die today. Rest in peace, pixie dust. Which is funny because he actually can fly. Okay, now this next bit is going to be hard because it was supposed to, the slick that was coming off of it looked like rainbow oil spill. So I'm going to have to remember how to do oil spill as soon as I finish rendering the flesh. Mixed in with the blood. Yeah, F in the chat for F in the chat for pixie dust. Canonically, he's still alive, but I thought, oh, wouldn't it be funny? My brother in Christ. What? Now this is a high impact splatter. So, boosh. Alright, it's gonna be... Now, how do you do oil spill again? No, the airbrush isn't gonna work. I have to use the watercolor. I can just barely visualize what it would look like, but I don't know. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put it in white, and then I'll just multiply ding 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 on top of it. Now, this is gonna look kind of innocuous. Actually, it doesn't look that bad. Oh, we just gotta pull it out, push it in, pull it out, push it in. Pull it out, push it in. At the risk of sounding lazy, I kind of wish there was a brush that would naturally do the rainbow patterning so I didn't have to... I mean, it's not that big of a deal, really, but... Okay, this doesn't look terrible. It's not what I'm going for, but I think I can make it work. If I do some, gymnastics. There we go. Wait, no, not hard light. Maybe multiply? No, it's supposed to be... Shoot. Okay. Okay, yeah, hard light's dead. we go. Oh, that's good. Save. My back just killing me. And we're at almost 2.5 hours. Oh god, I already want to take a break. My phone is at 16%. Whoops, I forgot to charge it last night. That's what I get for doom scrolling. You know what? Yeah, quick. I'm gonna take a quick bathroom break because, oh my god, I need it, so. I'll be right back. Revel in the useless details I've put into this thing. Alright, BRB. Dancing demon, watch me twirl and hop and spin. I'm quick to give a smile, but I won't forget your sins. I'm back. I can't tell if I'm hungry or not, but it is like lunch time. So, dunno. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to turn off my phone. Okay, So what's this one gonna be? Well, for that dad joke, I will be, I'm running an ad. I don't have the capacity to run an ad, but if I could, I would, just because of that. Somehow tone it down a little bit. Okay, to get around the fact that they're typically in black, I'm gonna make it look more gray in the harsh lighting. Well, hopefully it doesn't look too terrible. Except for their wings, which I will color in. It is really hard to see. Creepypasta writers. I get the dark and nighttime are spooky, but for frick's sake, can y'all just pick a different time of day that's slightly, you know, easier to color? You know? Ooh, okay, got it. Okay, and this dude's gonna be... I could pick a different color. I'm gonna pick green. Because that is not what I meant to do. There we go. Just to add some color variation on a would-be black. If you didn't know, blue, red, and green are the primary colors for digital. Yeah, for digital art, but for printing, it's cyan, magenta, and yellow. Missed a spot. How did I do that? You get to help us make rainbows. Beautiful, magical rainbows. Doesn't that excite you? I have no idea why, but specifically that line is just stuck in my head, and it is so chilling. No idea why. Now this one, even though this one was kind of set in complete darkness, I'm going to add the lighting that I imagine would be in the Rainbow Factory when the Spectra comes out. Yeah?
I'm gonna cook up some fries and some of the chicken that we have in there. Do you want some?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm not gonna make it too spicy, but there will be some.
But yeah, I almost killed myself with the spice yesterday, so...
Yeah.
And surprised me.
Alright.
Alright, my sister's gonna be making lunch. Alright, now for this dude, I'm just gonna give him a dark-ish mane with a bit of lighter streaks sprinkled in. And then I'm gonna take that, take this, stipple pen, and then add some stubble. Yeah, that doesn't look half bad. Oh, I should have kept that page open. What's the other dude? What's the professor's name? Half a moment. I had it up when I was doing the sketches. I just forgot to, you know, take notes. Dr. Atmosphere appearance. He is dark black, dark black, dark black. Okay. That has since turned white, light brown eyes. He wears glasses. Fuck me, he wears glasses. Okay. I can draw glasses on top. It's not that difficult to do. So, given that, his hair should actually be a little bit lighter, more salt and peppery. That's a bit much. More of a... Not sparkle. Where is it? There it is. Okay, where's his line? Okay, yeah, that's the line art. I can draw glasses right on top of it, no problem. It doesn't say what type of glasses, so I'm just gonna do wireframes. Secrets that I keep from showing. I am no wolf in sheepish clothing. If while it's selected, while I'm here, I'll just add. Nah, yeah, well, I'll keep that there, but. Alright, that's in order. Ow. Since he's red, these cylinders should actually be blue and green to offset. Okay, let's do blue. You get to help us make. Oh, shoot, his eyes. Light brown. Finally to the coloring phase, man. Everyone's favorite part. The coloring phase. Okay, that's good, that's good, that's good, that's... Okay, that's good. Now for the machine itself. Too many machines, if you ask me. Okay, I am gonna make it... Excuse you. I realize what I've done, but it's too late to turn back now. This is where we get to go crazy. Because it's supposed to look almost rusty. But when it cuts through bone and whatnot, little pieces are sure to, you know, of the original metal are sure to peek through. And especially if I put little bits and pieces of fur and like maybe some feathers in there to show that, yes, this is used to grind up ponies. Because, I mean, I don't want to cover up all my hard work. I worked hard on these gears, dang it. You're going to see them. Yeah, that's how I'm gonna do it. This is how I'm gonna do it. Lots of details, yo. And hey, it's not useless because you will be able to see this. Because I'm making sure that you can see it. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. At a distance, you can see the details. If you zoom in, you can still see the details. Beautiful. Magical rainbows. And it was beautiful. We could fulfill our duty to the princess and make rainbows. And the best part, we have to rid ourselves of the disgraceful, disgusting, flightless Venkatesananda. That's not the exact quote, but it's close enough. It's like, yeah. Ableism much? But that's the really terrifying part of Rainbow Factory. It's systemic ableism. Behold, the fruits of my labor. Oh, the devil is in the details indeed, dear Watson. I don't know if Sherlock ever said that, but hey. Behold, the glorious artist rendition of the dreaded Pegasus device. I'm gonna put little bits of fur in there now. Now, this might be details that no one is going to see, but I'll know they're there. You know what? We gotta move on, so let's keep going. Okay, that's all the illustrations done. Now, hang on. Do I have... I think I... Ooh, I have something that will bring this up to the next level, maybe. Here it is. Yeah! Look at this! Now, bear with me. This kind of does cover a lot of the details that I added, but it's also going to cover some of the bits that I just didn't bother to fill in. And it'll add a nice little, gradient on top of everything. Okay, almost done. I definitely want this to have its own thing. Maybe if I take this... do this... as well. I also... Okay, I like this, but I also kind of want it to look like glass. So if I do this... That's a bit much detail. Do this. And... you know, a bit of this. Instead, a little bit here. I put this on top of everything. Nah, we can keep it down here. Down there. That doesn't look half bad. Now, if I take this... nowhere close to what I was imagining the art piece to finally look like, but this is pretty cool. And I haven't even rendered just Scootaloo yet. What gliding should she be in? Come on. Come on. Blur. There we go. Wait a minute, if I... No, I don't know. Hang on, guys. I take this instead. I'm gonna make it a little bit more purple. Because I can. Ooh, I love it, I love it, I love it. Maniacal laughter. Okay, now this... kind of like it without that lighting. Oh, right. Okay. So now that there's not this hard line here. I'm worried this looks a little too busy. But, I mean, in that kind of part of the charm. Okay, I'm gonna just try this with white. And then maybe this is an overlay. Okay, not an overlay. And add. Multiply. Okay, yeah, the white really breaks up the hecticness of everything else. But that's definitely staying. Not add. Let's see. Alright, Scootaloo, why are you blending into the background? Is it because you don't have rim lighting? I can give you rim lighting if that's what you need, boo. Is that what you needed, girly? Yeah, I think all she needed was some rim lighting. So let's light those rims, shall we? Or rev up those fryers. I accidentally took off a little too much here. There we don't. Alright, multiply. I had it at 85. There we go. I'm having way too much fun. Now, chat. Should I add my favorite line in the entire fic? Should I somehow add that line on a very faint overlay? Because it would be, you get to help us make rainbows. Beautiful, natural rainbows. Doesn't that excite you? I just, yeah, I know I can, but like in the sketch, it would have been a really cool overlay, but the piece got a little too out of control. I went a little too overboard. So I'm not sure. It's trying to randomly hear you laugh. That's scary. Sorry, it's just when a piece suddenly starts, well, not suddenly, but when I finally start seeing the vision again after working for 3.5 hours now, I get a little excited.
I hope you like it if it's not too dry.
Thanks.
I gave you some salad.
What do you think?
Ooh.
Now, should I add the line? Hang on, my fingers are burning. Here. Thanks. There's a line here. This line. It's my favorite in the entire fic.
Ooh.
And in the sketch, I wanted it to, you know, overlay everything. And have "Doesn't that excite you" at the bottom. But the piece turned out to be a little bit busier.
Yeah, I don't think it would fit. It's not for you.
It's not for you, Pupper.
No, I didn't bring food for you.
But yeah, I went a little overboard.
It's awesome though.
Yeah. I love it. I added so many details that no one is probably gonna even see. But like, hey, look. Look at that.
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah.
Oh, this is my sister. She gave me food. It is. Yeah.
Anyway, let me know how that is and if I should make it again or something. I was just throwing stuff together, and then I got it all set up, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. This is for someone else as well. So, I don't know.
I'm probably... Oh, wait.
I'm hungry, I want to eat.
Alright, hang on. Wait, one sec.
I'm hungry.
Should I blur the rim lighting or just keep it like this?
I mean, I kind of like it like that.
Alright.
I don't know, if you blur it, it just kind of gets lost, but if it's hard, I don't know, maybe, sir, I don't know, I liked it when it was crisp, but,
There's nothing else here is cell shaded.
yeah, well, that makes her stand out. Anyway, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat.
Alright. Go eat. I'm probably gonna end stream soon, and by soon, I mean just adding some finishing touches before we... Ah, stop! No, it froze! There we go. Well, I shall tell her that you said that. When she's had her food, because she gets hangry. There we go. Fan art for the Rainbow Factory. Boom! And debt to society. I am not going to be streaming this Friday. I'm going to be away on a weekend trip. So enjoy the VODs that you're getting. Because this is it. Ow. I'm going to eat my food that I was given. And I will fiddle around with it later, so when it is posted up on my DeviantArt, it's probably gonna look a little different. Like the piece I worked on last stream, I fixed some things. So anyway, next stream might be a little shorter because I haven't been sleeping all that well. So next stream might be shorter because this is a very simple piece here. Or might be something else entirely. Like, if y'all are getting sick of ponies, I can work on something else. Like, I can do this. I can work on the thing. I really like the thing. Or anything like that. Just let me know what y'all want. Alright, I'm gonna close that. Bring up cast of Appletado. I'm just gonna stare at this for a while. I'm just gonna stare at this while I eat and try and figure out if it's done or not. So, in the meantime, thank you all so much for watching. All my socials are in the About page or in the description when you're watching this on YouTube. I stream on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, and sometimes Friday. And the VODs are posted the next day on YouTube. So, check all that out if you feel so inclined.
You're all going